Who said pies must be round? I'm telling you right here and right now, you gotta break free from the confines of a pie plate. Actually, you need to bake free. I'm gonna teach you how to make my free-form pear and cranberry slab pie. Yes, there are benefits to a round pie, but if you're like me and you wanna serve your guests a little more than a sliver, you're gonna wanna learn to make a slab pie, and this one is the perfect place to start. As with any pie, we wanna start with our pastry or our crust. In this case, for our slab pie, we're making it double crust and it's gonna be extra large. So to make that a little bit easier, we're gonna go ahead and use the food processor. We're starting with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To the flour, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar and 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. Lid goes on and we're just gonna pulse this to mix. Now for our fat. This is 8 ounces of butter that I cut into cubes and then I chilled it for at least 15 minutes. You want it to be really, really cold. I like to pulse it in 1-second intervals. It really helps prevent over-processing the butter. This is what you're looking for. You can see that the flour looks sort of moistened, but you still have these pea-sized chunks of butter, and we're gonna incorporate our water. So you wanna make sure that water is nice and cold. Drizzle this in as we pulse with the food processor. You can see how the dough is just starting to come together. You don't wanna over-process it, but your dough should definitely form a shaggy mass like this, and you know it's ready if you squeeze it together and it holds its shape like that. Dump the pastry out onto our work surface. We're gonna gather all the crumbs and gently knead it to form a mass. You wanna work quick here because the more you handle the dough, the warmer it's gonna get. And whenever you're working with pastry, cold is better. We have our pastry. Once it's all together and it's formed a mass, we're gonna cut that in half because like I said, we are making a double crust, so we need 1 bottom crust, we need 1 top crust. We're gonna individually wrap each piece of dough, and when we do that, we're gonna form them into little squares so that when we roll them out, they're already in a shape that is desired. 1 little dough onto there, 2nd dough onto there, fold it over, and just press it. You can pat, pat, pat. You got your first square. Fold it over, pat it down, pat it down. Fold it over, pat it down, pat it down. These are going into the refrigerator for 45 minutes. We want them firm and chilled. You can see all these little slivers of butter. Once this really cold pastry and that really cold butter hit a hot oven, it's gonna release steam, and that's what gives you that incredibly flaky texture. Are you ready to roll? I know it's supposed to be rumble, but just go with me here because we're rolling out pastry. We need to flour our work surface, and you're gonna flour your pastry as well. Whenever I roll out pastry, I like to start in the center of the pastry and either roll away from me or towards me, and then I rotate the pastry and I continue the process. And we're gonna keep doing this process until we reach a 12-inch square. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. You've got all these really beautiful flakes of butter there. We wanna make sure this is the right size. So for that, you need a ruler. 12 inches in both directions. We're a little shy, so we're gonna make it just another inch. We are ready to transfer this to a parchment paper lined baking sheet. We're just gonna very gently pick it up using our rolling pin, and then we're gonna drop it onto our prepared baking sheet. That's gonna be our bottom crust. We're gonna top it with some parchment paper, and we're gonna roll out our top crust as well. The quicker you do this, the better. Boop. We've got our top crust, we've got our bottom crust, and this is gonna go into the refrigerator for at least 15 minutes, which is the perfect amount of time to clean our workspace and prep our filling. And just like that, we have all this fruit in front of us. It's called the magic of video, folks. All right, we've got 4 pears here. So we are gonna peel, core, and cut these into 3/4 inch wedges. Oh, it's a little creamier. It's definitely pear-shaped, like me. I'm pear-shaped, check out my Instagram. We've got our pears peeled. What I like to do is cut them in half lengthwise, cut it into quarters. And then I just take the tip of my paring knife and cut down the center. Really easy. And we're gonna cut these into 3/4 inch wedges, which is probably just like that. Again, we're gonna cut it in half lengthwise, cut it into quarters, and just cut out the center. I love to use a mixture of pears here because you get Bartlett's, which are nice and sweet, and then Anjou pears, which sometimes are a little tart, which is gonna be really great because we're gonna add some sugar to the filling. 1 large mixing bowl, and the pears go in. Pears. Now we're giving these pears a little seasonal love, and these are the frozen cranberries. I like to use those because they're not gonna break down as quickly during the baking process. To our fruit, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, and that is gonna thicken our filling and make it really, really easy to slice once the pie is baked. Next up is one of my favorite spices. We're adding some ground ginger. This isn't gonna be super noticeable, but it will give you just a little bit of that je ne sais quoi. We've got a lot of tart fruit in this bowl, so we wanna add some sweetness, and we're gonna go in with 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Last but certainly not least, and you need it in every single sweet that you make at home, is salt. That is gonna enhance all of the flavors and make it really balanced. Filling is almost done. We just need a spoon, and we're gonna give it a really nice mix here. And one thing you'll notice right away is some of those cranberries start to burst, they start to pop, and they start to make the entire thing sort of this rosy color. It's gonna be really, really pretty after it bakes. All right, let's grab our pastry from the fridge. Pastry looks perfect. We're gonna go ahead and take the top pastry and just slide it onto the counter. We're gonna top this with all of that fruit, but you wanna make sure you leave a 1-inch border around the rim because that is what is gonna form our crust. So let's go ahead and just scoop these right on top. And once you do that, you can arrange the fruit just so it's a little more even. That way every single bite is so delicious. What do you think, little slab pie? Are you ready for your hat? It's time to put that top crust on top. If it's firm enough, you can actually probably just lift it up and just very gently lay it on top. Woo! It is massive. Take the bottom crust and the top crust, and you're gonna fold them together, and that is what we're gonna crimp to form the crust. And you can really crimp the crust as decoratively or as rustically as you would like. We're going old school with a fork. We're gonna wanna chill this again, but first, we need to brush this slab pie with some beaten egg. We're gonna add a tablespoon of water. Brush the entire thing, crust and all, with our egg wash. We are not done yet. We are gonna make this slab pie extra sparkly. We're sprinkling it with some turbinado sugar. Once you sprinkle it, we're gonna pop this in the refrigerator for another 15 minutes to make sure that pastry is extra cold. Cold pastry means flaky pastry. Woo, she is looking cold and she is looking ready for that hot oven. We wanna cut 16 slits in the top. I like to do 4 in each corner. And this is going into a 400-degree oven for about 50 minutes. Oh my gosh! Check out this slab pie. I mean, holy moly, she is beautiful. It's not a horror movie, it's my pie crust. I think I'm gonna go for a corner. Oh yeah. Look how beautiful. Now here's the thing. Here is my plate and here is my fork. But I'm not gonna eat it with a plate and a fork. Oh my gosh. I remember why I created this recipe. Both the top and the bottom crust are crazy flaky, but then the inside, the filling, is like a little tart, a little sweet, and it's got like that very, very subtle gingery note. This is legitness, super legit. I told ya, pies don't have to be round, so get out there, defy the laws of pie, and break those rules. Or is it bake those rules?